Welcome back to the channel, Modeling Maestro here. It's time to continue work on the Hasegawa F-8E in 1/48 scale. In the last video, much of the construction was completed. However, I still have a few more details that need to be finished up before I actually apply some paint. Instead of using the kit's supplied pitot tube at the nose, I decided to insert a small piece of brass tubing. CA glue was used to reshape the point of the nose cone, and sanding sticks were used to sand the area flush. Later on, I will complete the pitot tube by inserting a small piece of rod into the tube. Next, I added some styrene strips to the canopy frame. Evergreen styrene channels were added to complete the detailing. Just a reminder, if you're enjoying this content, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. To get the model ready for painting, I first added masks on the windscreen and canopy. As usual, I do this work by cutting small curves and rectangles of Cameo tape and apply the shapes to the clear parts. I always mask both the interior and the exterior of these parts. Cameo XF1 was airbrushed on both sides of the canopy and windscreen. The model received a coat of Cameo gray primer, and now it's time to spray the insignia white found on the underside of the aircraft, as well as several movable surfaces on the wings. The paint was applied in small squiggles, allowing for a more randomly applied pattern, rather than attempting to create a perfectly pristine finish. Once the white had dried, it was time to freehand airbrush the top color, light gold gray. In this shot, you can see I am applying a mixture of Cameo colors, however, the color ended up being too tan. Next, I decided to use a mask to create fluctuations in the color on the top of the upper surfaces of the model. This effect was kept to a minimum since more weathering effects will be added later. Cameo tape was used to mask off areas of the model that could accidentally receive overspray. Tape was again used to mask the engine exhaust. Mr. Color Super Metallics were used. Just a reminder, if you're enjoying this content, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm an Amazon associate. That means if you use the Amazon links in my video descriptions to purchase kits, tools, or equipment featured on the channel, I will earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. This is a simple way to support this channel while picking up the items you already need. This kit offered me an opportunity to try out a new tool I received, the Silhouette Cameo 5 Alpha. This machine is a cutter that can be used to cut masks of varying degrees of difficulty. The Silhouette cutter can be found in the description below. Since I would be making a model of the VMFA 235 Death Angels, I decided to cut out various star masks in different sizes rather than using aftermarket decals. I still purchased a few sets of decals in case the masks didn't work, and found that I could use the decals themselves to measure out the different sizes of each of these stars. I used Cameo masking sheets for the masks. As I began working with the machine, I found that making masks for other shapes would be fairly easy, so I made masks for the number 8, found near the guns, as well as the red and white banners found around the aircraft. I ended up acquiring a few different sets of decals to depict this F-8 squadron, cutting-edge F-8 Crusader set and from microscale. I used digital calipers to precisely measure out each star, and after a few tests I was able to cut out several different sized stars. The order of masking was as follows. First, I applied the image of the red intake shape in place. This allowed me to figure the size of the white border. I then masked off the edge of the border with Tamiya tape for curves. Once that white border was in place, I removed the first mask and sprayed the area white. Once the white was dry, I applied the stars to their positions and now was ready to spray the red. Once the red paint was dry, I carefully lifted an edge of each star mask with an X-Acto blade and pulled the star off with tweezers. Overall, the stars came out nice, however some of the edges needed a bit of touch-up, which I easily did with a fine brush. Later on in the process, I found that frisket film created a sharper edge than the Tamiya masking sheets. You may notice that the white borders ended up a little thicker than those found on the actual aircraft, but this was my fault and not the fault of the equipment or the process. Another mistake I made was following the cutting edge decals too closely with the spacing of the stars on the nose of the aircraft. Reviewing my references, I found that this exact aircraft had the stars more evenly spaced. So I resprayed the area, this time using frisket film for the stars. The model is now ready to receive a coat of Tamiya gloss, and then we'll be ready for decals. Well, that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.